All right, so we have begun. We haven't done a live stream for quite a while, and Aiden Golden Boy came over today, and we are working on editing a video Snow Goose hunt that he went on recently. And we haven't done a live stream for quite a while, and Aiden Golden Boy came over today, and we are working on editing some technical video Snow Goose hunt that he went on recently, and we haven't done a live stream for quite a while. And Aiden Golden Boy. There we go. Forgot to mute the other tab. Sorry, guys. So anyway, starting out here, we thought we'd do a live stream just for about 20 or 25 minutes to discuss the Snow Goose season. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch our Snow Goose videos. We put out 2 different videos. One, Aiden went out with his dad to some land that he secured, and then we went on our Snow Goose stock, and the 3 of us in Corn and Fumbles went on that. And then tomorrow at 1 o'clock, the last Snow Goose hunt video is going to be released. And Aiden went out again by himself and took the camera and stuff. You want to talk a little bit about that hunt and kind of what happened on? So anyway, tomorrow at 1 o'clock p.m., the last Snow Goose video is coming out. So be ready for that and make sure that you see it. So what happened on your Snow Goose hunt?
Well, I got set up the first evening by late in the afternoon, and there was no wind. So my spread, if you Snow Goose hunt, it just looks stagnant. Not appealing to really anything at all. And I saw some geese flying, but nothing really decoyed. And but I ended up shooting a couple. And the exciting thing was about the weekend was over the course of the hunt, there was this small group of like 12 geese about a quarter mile away from me in the same field. And I shot like 4 geese out of that group over the period of the 3 days that I was there. So they clearly weren't very smart, but they really liked that area, which was good for me because then I got to shoot some out of it.
So it's a nice little video. Aiden and I worked on it together. He kind of wants to learn how to edit videos, and so he and I worked on it all this afternoon. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock is the last video for spring Snow Goose hunting. And Aiden has really caught fire with the Snow Goose hunting. So he's into the decoys, and we've always just stalked him and never really messed with the decoying. But I think that Aiden's going to take us to a whole new level with his decoys. You have some kind of purchase coming up, right? You're working on a deal.
Well, I've been trying to get this guy to lower his price on these 20 dozen White Rock decoys that I recently purchased 10 dozen of, and they're really good. So I want to get some more because they're easy to set up. And when I'm hunting by myself, it might take me 3 hours to set up. So if I can set up 120 decoys in 30 minutes, then that's a good deal.
Do you think he's watching right now?
I hope not.
So Dan, you've now been 2 years in a row. I've been hunting snow geese just by stalking them for the past 20 years, and I absolutely love crawling in the mud, sneaking up on them. I love that style of hunting. You've gone now 2 years in a row. The first year we shot, I think, 5 or 6 stalking, and then this year we shot 6 stalking. What impressions do you have about snow goose hunting and stalking and your experience with it?
I think it's fun. I think it's fun to stalk. Anything, even human beings. Like stalking's, I think stalking is always going to be more thrilling, but shorter lived.
Yeah.
And I think if you're doing like what Aiden does, I think if you're decoying, then you're actually, I think you're more of a hunter decoying them than stalking them.
See, you know what? People will say that, but I totally disagree with that.
How so?
If you were out starving, what kind of hunting would you be doing?
Yeah, I'd be doing
300 years ago, how did they kill animals? I mean, stalking and crawling and sneaking, to me, that's the real hunting. When you've got the, and I love, you know, the decoys and all that, but when you have these manufactured decoys, manufactured collars, it's fun. It's true. More of like the right way to do it in the waterfowl community. But to me, it's not more hunting.
All right. So it's not a better
different way.
It's different. It's different.
It seems challenging.
But I still think that stalking is more like primal.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you've got them up past the cattails and you're in just rancid mud, which you are without even weight. And you're crawling and you know they're right over there. There's something inside of me.
It was more fun even video taping it or on the camera.
If you guys haven't seen our Snow Goose stock, in fact, you can see we've got 2 Snow Goose stalking videos, one from 2016 and then this year from 2017. Make sure that you guys check those out. If you want to see more decoying videos, Aiden's got one already, and then another one coming out tomorrow. But
That'd be awesome. If they could, for the stalkers, if they could somehow make like a safer grenade to just throw in the middle of like a group. Now that'd be awesome. That'd be amazing.
The goose grenade.
Like, like 13 or 14 pellets to shoot out, like 50-yard radius.
Maybe we could put that on Dan Can Do It. Can Dan create a waterfowl?
We'd have problems with the ATF, I think.
Yeah. Probably. So on this live stream, we're probably only going to be going about 20 or 25 minutes. If you guys do have questions, pop them up there. And we basically just hanging out and got together, and I said, let's do a live stream. So any questions that you guys have, Red Roof Retriever is talking about how dirty his hat is. I've kept mine pretty nice. I wear other hats when I'm out and getting dirty, and I try to keep this one a little bit nicer. But I think we're going to get some camo FDH hats. Yeah, some camo FDH hats.
That'd be sweet.
What pattern? Like wood green or like?
Real Tree Max?
Yeah, Real Tree Max. Probably Real Tree Max. Chris Spencer asks, any updates on the new lease? And I didn't know whether we were actually going to talk about this or not. The lease is ours, and we're ready to go with it. Chris, I don't know if you saw the video I put out where I actually showed the lease. It's dry now, and I showed it. And we've taken a little bit of heat from some viewers about purchasing a lease because freelance duck hunting is supposed to be hunting.
We're going soft
here and there, different places. So I've spent quite a bit of time interacting with people about the reasons that we purchased the lease and why we went about it. People are saying you should change your name. And here's the deal. All we've ever done is freelance duck hunt ever since I've ever known it. And so when I started this channel, I named it to reflect what we do. But I am certainly not going to make all of my waterfowl hunting decisions based on the name of this site. We are always going to be freelance duck hunters. That's going to be the majority of what we do. And we just added a lease into it to add to the mix. So I'm not changing. I love the name. I'm not changing it. We are always going to be freelancing. We're always going to be going to different public land.
But I am scared, though. I'm scared that like this leased land is going to be so nice that we're going to put recliners in there and like Dunkin' Donuts coffee and like
coffee machines with duck line.
Eventually, we're just going to be hooking up like machines for our shotguns just to.
I see it. I see it like this. We hunt hard, and our style of hunting is hard hunting. Number one, Fumbles is 73 now. He did the Snow Goose stalking. He did an excellent job. But we're someone that's had stints in his heart, so that's not exactly easy for him.
No.
And if we can extend his hunting career, number one, we're going to do it. Number two, if we get some times away where we don't have to just kill ourselves for every duck, man, that sounds like a deal to me.
I don't think I could shake anyone's hand with the same amount of tightness anymore because of the hunting. Like my hand doesn't work as well anymore.
But we're always going to be freelancing. I mean, we'll never stop going to public land or different. Corn's got some possible private land too. Mm-hmm. The name, what freelance means is you move from place to place to place, and you're not in a fixed location. That's what freelance
or
means.
Style, right?
Well, if you just take the definition of the word freelance alone, it's moving from place to place or thing to thing without any being tied down to a specific spot.
We're nomads.
So as long as we're hunting the lease some, public some, we're still freelance. Yeah. So let's people need to understand what the name freelance itself means, I think.
And it's nice to not have to have the competition.
Yeah.
That we have every hunt on public lands.
Mm-hmm. Chris says we better give Fumbles a recliner. Fumbles loves his recliner. He loves it. All right, here's another question from Rampage Impact. While decoying snows, how many decoys do you use? I use around 40 silhouettes and 6 full bodies, and I can drag in decent groups. Just curious. Why don't you take this? Because he's the only one that owns decoys, so we'll let him take this one.
Well, I use about 300, a mix of about 100 silhouettes, 120 shells, and a mix of Texas rigged rags, and then recently added 120 White Rock socks, and so I'm up to about 400 now, depending on how many I sit out. But
how long does that
I've
take
always
you?
heard that it takes me like 3 hours
by himself. But if it was 4 people, it would be
But
Not
if
bad
it was
at all.
4 of us or 3 of us, it would take us an hour and a half, no problem. I've always heard that big spreads are good. The bigger, the better. I've used the X pattern, but I've also used just like the tip of the spread is a U, but then you just got like 120 yard like straightaway line, and they'll just come right to the top of the feeding line, and that's worked well too. But I've only set out decoys maybe like 5 times in my life, so I'm still pretty new at it. But
yeah. Another question, Fold'em Outdoors says, will you be doing any deer hunting and turkey hunting? We have 3 turkey hunts from last year that Dan and I went on. We weren't successful in any of them.
No.
The year before that, we went out 1 time and Dan shot 1. But we're going to up our game a little bit in turkey hunting this year. I know we're going to give Aiden the camera a couple times. We're going to be going multiple times. We're going to be doing more scouting. So we're certainly going to be turkey hunting. Next year, you may, if you, the lease that we bought, the owner of the lease had a trail cam in there. They've shot a massive buck in there before. And on trail cam, they've got images of another massive buck on our lease. So if you or you guys hunt that, we'll video.
Yeah.
I'm not a deer hunter. And I've kind of turned Dan off. Ever since I got Dan hooked in the waterfowl, he didn't deer hunt this shit.
That and that lady like rear-ending me with the deer in my truck, and then I had to pull this big deer out of like a tiny little door.
You should probably tell that story if you're going to reference it.
Well, on my way back from shooting a deer, the first time I ever actually got a deer with a bow and arrow, like it took me a long time to drag the deer and put it in my Jeep. I was really, really thirsty, so I pulled over to Casey's.
This is what, 3 years ago, 2 years ago? Right before
2 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
And just, and it was a Jeep Cherokee too, the old ones, like a 99. And my Jeep fans, you guys know those are my favorite Jeeps there. Anyway, she rear ends me, and the first thing she does when she gets out is she says, "Oh my God, I can't believe I did this again. I just hit a deer last month." And I open up like the side door and I'm like, "Well, you hit another one." Right. And then I finally get the Jeep back to my house, and I have to pull this like rigor mortis like animal all stiff through the side door because the hatch doesn't open anymore. There's like a blood trail coming from like my driveway all the way to like, I don't know if I can do it again.
I want to take this question for sure. Colby G says, how has religion helped you as a hunter, and how has hunting helped you with religion? I'm going to answer that real quick. And then both these guys are on the same plane as I am as far as our spiritual beliefs. And so with me, I wasn't really following the path I think God wanted for me, and wasn't really active in a daily relationship with Jesus up until about, I guess it was 2007, pretty much. I'd been raised in a very Christian home, but I really wasn't fully living it the way that I should have. And right around the time that I fully committed my life, I really hit waterfowl hunting hard. And I was hunting by myself during those times. And so I would go out at the night and be in my little tiny Cartson's puddler boat in the middle of nowhere on a marsh with all the stars up all by myself. And I can say those certainly for me were some of the closest moments I've ever had to God in my entire life. And I feel closer to God. What's the verse that says, what is the verse that says about through God you'll see, through nature?
Through nature you'll see the Lord and all
something
his
to
works.
that effect. But certainly it greatly strengthened me in a time that I was really turning my life over to God.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
You want to go? I think think about this one for a second. I think hunting has hurt me with religion, but has certainly strengthened my faith.
You want to expand on that a little bit?
But like the culture of religion is a beautiful thing. Like it's wonderful to like have things like communion and like Lent and things like that for, whatever denomination you're in. That in my book is religion. Okay. But sometimes, and it's still a struggle for me, and I'm working it out a lot. I really am. Sometimes I'll go into a beautiful building with beautiful people, and we'll listen to we'll do worship music or something like that. And I'm just like, it it's good, but I worship God so much more intimately when I'm knee deep in mud with like sunlight on my face and just watching the balance of just his work.
Yeah.
So I'll come into church setting and I'll just be like, okay, pull it together. You know, it's too synthesized in a way. So that's my struggle, but whatever, you know.
Aiden, you want to comment on that at all, or if you don't have to, you're welcome to.
Well, one time this season, it was kill season, went out hunting, and I got back in time for second service. And I was like, I'm talking to my pastor, and he's like, yeah, I made it back in time for church. And he's like, man, you don't have to come to church to be a Christ follower. And I think that's spot on. I think a lot of people, you know, think that you got to go to church or be present in the church to, you know, to be in good standing, whatever. But it's all about the relationship. And for me, I feel close to God when I'm outside.
Yeah.
When I'm in a big city, I feel farther away from God. I mean, I know he's right there with me, but when I'm out in nature, I can see that he's evident. And people that don't see that, it just doesn't really understand.
You know, the majority of the atheists live in bigger urban settings than they do in the country. Generally speaking, atheists live in big cities.
You know what?
I don't think that's coincidence.
Like if I was hunting alone, I don't think it would be nearly as spiritual, and because I see God through community, I see His power and His works through other people, giving me maybe, you know, a word of like, you know, hey, knucklehead, like, can you stop screwing up, or good job, you know, but like people are the church. We're two or more gathered, you will find me, saith the Lord, right? So
yeah.
If I was doing it all by myself, it wouldn't be a very spiritual thing.
Yeah, I find more spirituality when I'm doing it by myself than with others. Myself, but I mean both ways. But when it's just quieter, or reflect. Other questions. One that went by that I don't know who asked it, about my teaching and my students and how it affects my hunting. Well, it affects my hunting in that I can't go out as much as I want. Number one. But I do have students that find my YouTube channels. I show them some of the videos, more of my family ones. But some of my students kind of catch on to that. I've got this YouTube channel. And one in particular this year actually even drops in on some of the live streams. So they do like it, and a lot of them do watch them. So I certainly keep these videos completely family friendly, not just because my students, but just because we want to portray who we are. And we're just, you know, not the kind of guys that go out and drop tons of F-bombs, maybe corn a little bit, but Danner from time to time. We're not, you know, we're not saints. We're not saints.
Perfect,
but
that's for sure.
we're not the type of guys that you're hearing filthy jokes all the time.
Just,
you know, we're not saints. You know, but
there's
yeah. And fishing videos. NT wants to know about fishing videos. I've got a whole line of fishing videos from last year. If you want to go watch those. And
we're gonna noodle.
Yes, well, I think that may be on Candan Do It. I think the noodling may be on Candan Do It. But
I got to be there for that.
But yeah, we're certainly going to be doing fishing videos. My main camera, the Panasonic, is in the shop right now getting repaired. So I won't start the fishing videos until I get that back, which hopefully I'll get that back within a week. I know Golden's got some ponds we're going to hit. We're going to hit I've got some definite ideas for fishing videos. So we've got turkey videos coming up, 3 to 5 to 6 of them. We've got probably 15 fishing videos coming up. So there's plenty of stuff, and some more live streams as well. Brian Ortega keeps wanting to know what lakes we hunt. Brian, if you want to, I'd rather not air that over YouTube, but you're welcome to email me at freelanceduckhunting@gmail.com. We can talk about that. But if you live in the area that we live in, I'm sure you can probably guess. We don't stick to one lake in one area. So we hit all sorts. We hit all up and down the eastern, north and southeastern side of the state, as well as the central side of the state, north central part of the state. So we're all over.
I have to say the central part of the state is the smelliest mud I've ever had.
Yeah.
The most disgusting mud I've ever
Yeah.
Well, that's probably just because you got hit in the face with a fish.
We didn't get that on video. On the Snow Goose stock, you can see it because it's when Fumbles is talking to Corn and you see Dan holding his ear. They're draining that pool we were on the Snow Goose stock. They're draining it. And there was all these little, I'm not sure what they were. They weren't
Like
sunfish.
little suckers or something.
Yeah,
Sure.
but they were laying in the water, and I picked one up and threw it at Dan hard, and I nailed him.
And he
in
was
the ear
a pitcher. He was throwing like 90 mile an hour
right in the ear hole
in college.
So if you watch on the video, right at the time that my dad's talking to Corn before the morning stock, you see Dan throw something to me, and then he's holding his ear. It's because I pelted him with a fish right now.
So hard that the fish's head just exploded off of its body, bouncing off of my ear.
You had a fish concussion.
No,
yeah. They want to know about news on the big boat. The big boat is ready to go. It's completely fixed. Fumbles is doing some alterations to it. We're going to get some flotation devices on the back side of it to kind of keep it up. He's a little worried about it.
And maybe some new kayaks.
Where we may be looking at some layout boat changes. Also, the discussion videos are going to be coming up. But we're going to redo some. We're going to buy some new layout boats. At least Fumbles is. And we're going to come with a little bit different system for our concealment on that as well. Let's see. Anything else?
Concealment.
Well, I can't recommend a shotgun for $1,000, but for spec brook trout fisher, he says he used 3.5-inch shells. I've used 3.5-inch shells for most of my goose hunting this year, and I use a Remington 870, and I've had more hiccups and gun jams with 3.5-inch shells.
I can't believe
than
that.
it's just.
I don't see a
not
reason.
good.
I don't see a need for 3.5-inch shells.
Yeah.
If
me,
you're,
just
I'm
3
not going to
inches
shoot
is the way to
over
go.
40 is my limit. I mean, as far as distance, I don't see any need for a 3.5-inch.
You got more pellets. What's wrong with that?
If
I
someone
feel like
can
my
enlighten
gun
me
jams
on
more.
what it's going to do for me. I mean, is it really? I mean, are they as fast? I guess I don't know that much about 3.5-inch shells. I always think it's for people that want to extend their range. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
I think you'll have more of a dense pattern of BBs.
Well, it depends if the 3.5-inch is extra shot or extra powder. Because sometimes you can buy 3.5-inch
yeah.
with lighter shot, but
Okay.
more powder, so it'll go faster, or
Right.
it's got more powder and more shot, so it's slower, but you got more shot.
I was a little bit disappointed in the Beretta.
Yeah.
Like I knew
Why?
that it was a semi-automatic and that you have to oil it and clean it, but
Yeah.
if you go
What problems did you have? I don't
Well,
remember you having a problem. Just the last time.
the
Just
last
because you
time.
dropped your gun in the marsh.
you think,
I have the only problems I've ever had with my Beretta
Mhm.
is that when I reassembled it, I totally took it apart and cleaned it. When I reassembled it, there's one little ring on there. You've got to be careful that it's not out of place. And I messed up on that. And then if it gets really cold and it gets wet, moisture at all, it freezes. But other than that, I have not had a single misfire. I know you had some issues with it this last time, but
yeah,
other than that, what problems did you have?
well, it's just I've had guns jam, but then I know what's wrong with it, and then I can fix it right there in the field. But now this is the first time where I have a weapon where it's malfunctioning, and I'm baffled. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I think it would actually just have everything to do with not cleaning it, like not oiling it one time. I don't know. We'll see what happens next season.
Another question from Nick. What do you guys think of those motion duck decoys that move on the water and dunk under? I see Drake's here. I'm so glad. Drake, I almost texted you and let you know about this live stream, so I'm glad that you showed up. But Drake bought one that he really likes.
It ducks under the water?
It's got water that spouts out the back. If you guys go to Drake Valley's page, he has a review on his. And the ones that we bought, which is called the Skimmer, it was terrible. We've tried 2 different motion decoys that splash water. Both of them have been terrible.
I like that one.
How many times did we have it out and it was working?
Twice.
Now the jerk rigs are fine, although they're a little bit of pain. But I think I would like to talk with Drake more about his and go with his, because he had good success with it and he liked it.
I liked Aiden's.
Oh, the Mojo on
that's
the
a little
float?
different thing, but yeah.
A little bit.
Well, I mean, I can just see they're kind of practical if you're hunting on a day that there's no wind. It puts a little ripple on the water, but I've never used them.
Trevor says make a bloopers video. I thought all our videos were pretty much bloopers video. Did you not see us sink our boat? We don't edit out bloopers. If there's any bloopers, they're in the video.
That's it.
My dad Fumbles wants us to talk about our layout boat discussion. Dan, so we've got the Cartsons pintails, and I know someone said they like a beaver tail. Beaver tails are too heavy for us. We need boats that you can drag 100, 200, 300 yards. So beaver tails don't work, at least the ones I know of, because they're too heavy. And we don't want trailer ones. We want ones that we can. So we've got the 18-foot boat. On top of that, we layer our little layout boats, We drive up rivers, pull them off, drag them 200, 300, 400 yards. And so we need light boats, and we're in a transition phase. Dan has recently purchased an aquapod that he found off Craigslist. If you've never seen aquapods, they're a little pricey, but they're extremely lightweight, and so aquapods are a fantastic choice. Fumblements has been looking at lighter kayaks, which we're kind of looking through our options on those, but we need to lighten the load on our layout boats, especially Fumbles is a little bit heavy, so he's trying to get a lighter. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with my Craigslist one, even though it's got lots of holes. And then what is yours?
It's a Heron 10 foot.
And it's just a kayak, right?
It's just a kayak.
But you would struggle to lay out in that, wouldn't you? Can you lay out in that boat?
I mean,
you can't really lay out in it,
no, you'd be 1.5 feet, 2 feet above the water.
Okay.
Basically sitting up with your back.
So that's where we're at with the layout boats. I only wanted to go about 25 minutes on this one. Didn't want it to be real long. I'm going to kind of try when we do our live streams to keep them a little bit shorter and just see how they run. But don't forget, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we've got a Snow Goose video coming out where this golden guy right here goes out on a little Snow Goose hunt, and he shoots a couple. He does okay. So make sure you check that out, and don't be strangers, because there'll be, like I said, turkey hunting videos, fishing videos, all sorts of stuff coming out, and some more live streams. And Drake, you, me, and GT need to get together and do a live stream real soon. So let's talk about that. Any parting comments before we go?
Been a good season, guys.
Yep.
Start turkey season.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, thank you for joining us, guys. And don't forget to check out those videos and go back and check out some more other stuff too.